Hello and welcome to another reading. I hope this finds you well. It's a beautiful, beautiful day. If it's night time there, I hope you're having a wonderful evening and have had a beautiful day. Today, Spirit wants me to speak of love, and it's going to refer to kind of the different stages of our approach or attitude towards love. Now, for some people, it's love between having a partner, an intimate relationship. For others, it is where is my soul tribe? Where are the people that will back me up and love me for who I am and support me forward? And there was something else that will come, I believe. I feel like I've forgotten the third group. But even within that, there are people who are kind of waiting on love. There are people who have given up on love. And there are people who are just getting on with it. And this is going to sort of speak to all of them, if Spirit gives me the right words. However, this video is about the message that's coming from your ancestors, your soul tribe in spirit, your spirit soul tribe. And because we are like rats in a tunnel, okay? We are down here with amnesia, with, we don't remember really who we are or what we're here for, all that kind of stuff. There is a lot of remembering happening at the moment in these special times. However, generally speaking, we just move, where with whatever opportunities or whatever we see in front of us, whereas Spirit, God, Source have the eagle eye view, the bird's eye view, and able to see exactly kind of where we're going, and they try to guide us, our guides try to guide us to have the experiences that refine us and purify us, or give us the lessons that we're meant to have and the experiences that we're meant to have, so that we come to a better, stronger place within ourselves and all that kind of stuff. So understanding that, there were two songs that came through, okay? So the first one was a song called Find Yourself, and it's by Lucas Nelson. And the words that kept repeating over and over in my mind was, I hope you find yourself before I find someone else to be my love. And then the clincher in the chorus is, I know it's love that I deserve. Okay? So, one step at a time, Spirit. So that song suggests there was a relationship of sorts, and it's over, and this person is saying to the other, I hope you find yourself before I've moved on, before I find someone else to be my love or my lover, right? Because I know what I deserve, and it's love. So it suggests a waiting, though. There's a hint of waiting. It suggests, I want the person to be you, but if you don't wake up to yourself and what you're doing, or whatever the right words are in your circumstance, or this could be the past for you, this could be happening right now. I hope you wake up to yourself before I've moved on. And the message from Spirit is, and this might trigger some people, is don't wait, move on. And there's different layers to this. So for some other people, it's that they're at the stage of the realization of, I know that it's love that I deserve. Like, I know what I bring to the table, and what you brought to the table wasn't satisfactory. It wasn't equal reciprocation of the frequencies weren't matching the effort, the quality, however you want to describe the love that was shared between two people, or within a family dynamic. This could be, or friends, or it could be about just finding your soul tribe, like having better quality people around you. Yeah, so that we're talking about the interaction of love being shared between people. It doesn't have to be intimate, but this song is about intimacy. So I'm going to sort of speak of that, but you put it across, whatever dynamic you resonate with. But it suggests that the person has come to a place, a realization within themselves, that they know what they're worthy of. Yeah? Some people are in that waiting phase or waiting stage where they feel like I've just got to be patient and wait for this person to see the light, to wake up to themselves or whatever. I never would suggest that. If someone's loving you, they're in your life. Okay, and I know that's very black and white, and there are exceptions to that. But yeah, if I won't go any further into that bit unless you want me to, Spirit. No, it's all good. So the message here from Spirit, it is about moving forward. Now, some people still find that are in that waiting stage, have that waiting space. They have their heartstrings they still feel attached to this person. They feel it's a shame that they weren't able to function at a level whereby the relationship or the friendship or the whatever couldn't flourish. And so the message, I'll get straight into the message. Okay, the message from Spirit is all that love that you are waiting to pour into someone, or the feeling that you feel, that you perceive that you will have once you have your soul tribe around you, your really supportive group around you, or once you have a really supportive group at work, or whether if it's friends, or if things were better in a family. Like, I just want everyone to be together and be loving on each other, and just really supporting each other and coming from a beautiful heart space. Or I want that beautiful intimate relationship. And Spirit has always said this to me in terms of in my readings for people who were saying, where's my love? When do I get to have love and all that kind of stuff? And Spirit's always said, and I'm saying it again today, that feeling within yourself that you feel, that you think, that you perceive that you would have when you're in that perfect relationship, or you have that perfect group of friends around you, or you have that perfect team in your work, or have that perfect situation in family. They're saying that feeling that you think that will bring you, what it will feel like, if you imagine what that would feel like, start to, what's the word, Spirit? The word is escaping me. It's not harvest. Start to build that up within yourself, within your relationship with self. So all the love you think you would feel, given those circumstances that involve other people, start to nurture that within yourself. Okay, so all the love, as I was saying before, that you think you have to pour into family, or a great team at work, or friendships, or intimate relationship, all the love that you feel you have to give, Spirit's saying give it to yourself first. Because if you're running on empty, in terms of self-love, you're not going to attract, we want to attract someone that's at our level, for there to be equality and reciprocation of effort and intent and whatever the right words are there. We have to be at that level in order to attract that. Okay, it's about us operating generally at the frequency of love. Okay, and that means loving on ourselves, caring for ourselves, and really listening to our bodies and our intuition around what we want to do, where we want to place our energies. This is all stuff I've talked about in my other readings, yeah? When we're at that frequency of really honestly caring for ourselves, and that is then demonstrated in everything that we do. So we're no longer negating self in order to foster, was that the word, Spirit? Foster? In order to foster better relationships with the people around us. We need to foster that within ourselves first. So the song also gives a hint, or from Spirit's perspective, gives a hint towards that you have elevated, in that you have standards now that you didn't have then, in terms of how you are wanting to be treated and what behaviours you'll accept and what behaviours you won't accept. If you could rewind and go back to that familial situation or work situation or friendship situation or intimate relationship that you've come out of in the past or are coming out of now, it's like once you've got the realization of, no, I deserve better than that. Why did I stick around? Why did I endure that when all the signs were there telling me that I wasn't being treated the way that I should? And so you know that if you put yourself as you are today back in the past in those situations, you wouldn't tolerate it for a blinking second. And so celebrate that. Celebrate that. But so the song sort of, from Spirit's perspective, nods to your elevation. And so they're saying, look at where you are now in terms of what you'll accept from people and what you won't, compared to where you were before. All the heartache or pain or discomfort of dealing with whatever the scenario was has led you to this space of having a more refined, much more clearer idea of what you want your interpersonal love experiences to be like. So that's a great thing, right? Celebrate that, but then give it to yourself. Don't be waiting on someone else. And I believe a lot of the people who are watching this are not waiting. So this is a big nod to you from Spirit, that we acknowledge you're no longer waiting, and you have realized what it is you deserve. And so this is more along the lines of Spirit saying, so moving forward, really pour your attentiveness, all the qualities that you bring to your familial work, friendships and intimate relations, all those qualities that you know that you bring, use them for yourself. Your attentiveness, your real boundless. Is it boundless? Yeah, boundless demonstrations of care and support that you have for others. It's time to turn that in on yourself. And it's not about that you're being selfish or that you're giving up on love or any of that stuff. It's that I now vibrate at this frequency. This is where I hold my frequency for myself. I'm loving it. And in loving yourself, you're loving the divine. Because it's like, it's not possible to go out in nature, Spirit's saying, and really just to be touching the plants and the stones and or enjoying the beach, the water, the sand, the sun on your skin, the air that we're breathing, and just be in awe of all of that without loving the divine. You may not realize it, but that's what you're doing. You're loving creation. So we're now holding ourselves in this higher frequency. And it really isn't about, it's not like, I'll go and do all this work on myself so that I can be at this higher frequency, so then I can attract, the type of people around me that I want. Yes, that will be a byproduct of it in time. But it really is, if it's still about manifesting and attracting the right relationship or the right people around you in whatever the scenario is, can you see that there's still a void that you're looking to fill? Because when you truly have love for self, and when you're truly vibrating at that energy of love, you or that frequency of love, you don't want for anything. There is no lack within you. There's no hole waiting to be filled. There's no void that's space for a partner to come in or for a new group of friends to come in or whatever. You're not coming from that space. You just feel great. There's nothing wrong with wanting more love in your life, and there's nothing wrong with welcoming in expressions of love in whatever form, whether it's platonic or intimate, from people outside of you. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's this waiting for or wanting, or I'm doing this for myself so that I can attract. Like, that shouldn't be, Spirit's saying that shouldn't be the motivation. The motivation should be for where you are at and where you vibrate, because that just, do it because it makes you feel good. It elevates your soul. Yeah. Now, Spirit wants me to acknowledge, which is, before we started this, they were saying this, and they're now reminding me. There are certain souls, there's certain people whose souls are, can we, for the sake of ease, call it a calling out for their soul tribe, whether it's family members or friends or work people or intimate partners. And that's because of, Spirit's saying that's another video, but basically you can go down that rabbit hole. There's many reasons why the timing is right now, that souls that have a certain mission here, souls that are meant to be working with other souls, and souls that are ready to be reunited with souls from the past that they haven't yet been reunited with in this life, or perhaps they have and then the timing hasn't been right and they've moved on, and then there's too many scenarios that I could describe. And Spirit's saying there may be certain people who are, let's say, light workers or very, very high frequency people who are very much self-aware and very much connected and up on, clairvoyant basically, or super strong empaths with the clarity attached to that, not just all heart. That they will be sensing within them a soul yearning for connecting with similar souls. And so what Spirit's wanting to distinguish between that, because that comes from an unconscious place. You're conscious of an unconscious yearning, and that is from soul deep. But what I've been talking about so far has been people who are consciously sort of saying, well, I hope you get your act together before I find someone else. And so Spirit's saying for the people who are in that, we're trying to shift you out of that headspace. Don't be waiting on anyone. Move forward with your life and love on yourself, love on your life, love on the people and the environments that are currently within your sphere. Yeah. That one thing, what was I saying before? That headspace of I know what I deserve these days. So that there calls in discernment. So today I would be much more discerning, is sort of what you're saying to yourself. I'd be much more discerning. I would not overlook people's behavioural red flags and just tolerate and overlook things, because I know I can see their potential. So I'm going to keep relating to that. In the meantime, they're kicking and screaming, carrying on like 5-year-old children. That's over with. That pattern, that cycle is over with, and you've come to a place within yourself where you are much more discerning and much more, you hold yourself in such high regard now. And it's not about being a snob or being arrogant or anything like that, but you love yourself enough, and you've realized that, and your worth, and because you know what you bring to the table, you won't tolerate so much of what you've put up with in the past. You wouldn't tolerate today. So there's a lot to be said about the discernment that's at play now, and the higher standards you hold for yourself and for anyone who would step forward or want to be around you. So definitely an elevation. And so while Spirit was getting me to walk around the house and get the crystals for today, and I was filled with this thing of, from that song about, I hope you wake up to yourself soon, because, I'm going to, before I, move on and find someone else, like that kind of threat, like that, it's a certain vibration, right? It's a beautiful song. I actually love the song, and I love the chorus where it says, because I know it's love that I deserve. I finally know it's love that I deserve. And it's just beautifully sung. If you don't know the song, go and listen to it. But that first part of it, of, I hope you find yourself before I find myself another love, it's kind of a threat. It's kind of I'm TikTok, I'm waiting for you to wake up to yourself. And if you don't, I'm fine with moving on, and because I know what I deserve. That part's good, but the TikTok part is not. And so anyway, I was walking around and I'm going, which crystals do you want me to get today, Spirit, and da-da-da. And I felt this real elevation within myself, and I was walking around, and this is going to sound really daggy, and please don't make me sing it, Spirit, but I was like, okay, I'm sorry, please excuse my bad singing, but and it's really daggy, but I was walking around and I'm collecting the crystals and coming back and forth to this table and bringing them. Go, what else do you want me to get, Spirit? Da, da, da. And I'm walking around and going, love, 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 love. And I just had this thing. So I'm like, why is this coming out of me, Spirit? And they're like, because you need to let people know that if you want more love in your life, if you want more loving exchanges with people, hold that frequency within yourself. And so as you're, I don't know, walking around the house dusting or watering your plants or whatever you're doing, you can hold that intent. And it's not an intent of, you're just saying the word, you're singing the word, and you're feeling good about singing the word, right? So that in that way you're elevating yourself, and you're singing the word, and it instantly puts you in that frequency of abundance, not lack. Okay, that's a very different space to someone sitting around going, oh, when am I going to have what I want? I'm doing all these great things. I do all the self-care stuff. I do all the spiritual stuff. But where's my partner? Or where are my friends? Or where am I? Whatever. You're not meant to experience that yet. Those people will come in and around you when and if they're meant to. While you're focused on you being alone, because there's nothing lonely about being alone, right? And while you're focused on what you perceive you lack, you're going to keep lacking that. You're going to keep lacking that feeling of love within yourself. So, oh, you nearly gave me the word, didn't you, Spirit? Nurture that, foster that feeling of love within yourself. And what I just did there with the Daggy singing, that's a really quick way to just get into that frequency, because it's a high. I don't lack for anything. I exude love. Yeah. Yeah. I am love. I'm light. I'm everything I'm meant to be. And so thank you, Spirit. That came out of left field, as it always does. In one of my previous readings, I talked about a spiritual course that I went to, and the course was very much about your relationship with yourself. Someone came up with a song, a little mantra actually, and I do often, in the past, I've often shared this with my clients, and so obviously it's just fallen out of my mouth today. So thank you, Spirit. I meant to share this with you, and it goes like this. Tell me again, remind me, because I'm just laughing at how all this is spilling out. I am love. I am light. I am everything I'm meant to be. There's your mantra. And if you want to then extend that beyond yourself, we are love. We are light. We are everything we're meant to be. And that's not imposing anything on anyone else, but it is shifting your perception so that you're not the only one, yeah, that is love and light. Yeah? It's it. So have a think about that. You could put it on your mirror, lipstick on the mirror, or a note, a post-it note, or something like that, or and just have it somewhere special, or around your crystals, or somewhere where you go every day, and then it reminds you, and then you can say it, you can sing it. Okay? Or as well as that Daggy love singing that I was doing. And that came direct from Spirit. They literally just was like, I'm busying myself getting the crystals, listening for which crystals I'm meant to have, and I start singing this love, 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 love. And so that it raises your frequency, right? And you're not lacking. In terms of intimacy and your relationship with yourself, things like taking beautiful long baths, using essential oils, having plants around you, crystals around you, all that kind of stuff, but also self-massage as well, self-anointing the skin before or after you shower, doing it in a loving way, mainly using your palms of your hands rather than fingers and being rough and whatever, doing things slowly and in a loving way. Yeah. Take a look at your underwear. Yeah. Do they make you feel good? Do they make you feel special and loved? You don't buy it for other people. You buy it for yourself. Yeah. It doesn't have to be expensive or super sexy or anything like that. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, it may be for you, it's comfort above looks. Yeah. Is more important. So that's what you wear. But if you feel like, oh geez, this pair of boxer shorts or you know, whatever undergarments are they're Daggy, they don't make me feel good. So go through your closets and look at your clothes, look at your socks, look at your shoes, look at your shirts and skirts and pants and particularly your underwear, the things that most people don't see, and pick them up. And how do I feel about this? Or does this remind me of anyone, or does it remind me of anything, that I'd like to let go of? Does it remind me of, I remember when I bought this pair of underwear and the headspace I was in was not good. And I bought them because they were cheap, or I bought them because, I had a false sense of ego about me, and I had to get the sexiest, most expensive pair there was. Let them go. Let all that stuff go, and have what resonates with you today. and who you want to become, where you're headed today and where you're headed. Letting go of the past, letting go of physical things and clutter and stuff that we hold on to. Okay. Then another song came through, and I think everybody these days, someone told me that this song has suddenly, it's from the 70s and it's suddenly become super popular because somebody said that the frequency that it plays at is one of abundance. And I'm here to say that it is, to a certain degree. Why this song in particular, there's plenty of songs and there's plenty of ways to raise your frequency into a state of abundance. But yeah, it might be a fad, it might be whatever, I don't know. I haven't looked into it. I was just told, and I'm like, oh, well, look, I've always loved this song. I've got this song on my phone because I love 70s music and I love all types of music. And it's the song Ring My Bell by Anita Ward. Now, I love it, right? And it is a high energy song. And just in case you don't know it, she's singing, you can ring my bell, ring my bell, ring my. And it's this excitement around, I'm inviting you to feel free to ring my bell. Now, you can put that in a sexual way, or you could, it's about feel free to step forward, feel free to come forward. I'm inviting you to come forward and state your case. What's the word? When people woo each other, all that kind of stuff. So that's another song where Spirit was saying it's a good one because you're open to, some people who've gone through it and they're like, well, I know what I deserve. I know that love is what I deserve. And now I have discernment, I have my sword, I'm able to put boundaries in place, I'm able to communicate with my throat chakra, what I will and won't put up with from people and all that kind of stuff. And when you're in that space, if you're taking yourself a little bit too seriously, there's still pain that you haven't let go of because you're wearing armor, you've got your sword and your shield in hand, you might be wearing a full suit of armor. In that I will not go back to that, I will not tolerate that again, all that kind of stuff from anybody, blah, blah, blah. The lesson's been learned, absolutely, and that's fantastic. But if you're saying that with an angry tone, you can be resolute and you can be vehement and strong on that within yourself. But if you're too serious, if there's emotion behind it, it means that you have not yet resolved the pain, all of the pain. There's still some pain and resentment, anger, whatever there. So go and work on that and release that through writing or whatever. There's a million ways, obviously, and it's good to be in that space and still be open. So the Ring My Bell song is Spirit's using that as reference to, you can be very discerning and have high standards and know that you will speak up the moment someone steps a foot wrong towards you, and your tolerance is much less these days. You're not here to suffer and endure things at the promise of things improving, but then they don't because the other person's not they're just not up to standard for you currently. All that kind of stuff. You can be in that space, showing that you've learned all your lessons, and you can still have your heart open. By having your heart open, the doors are still open for good people to come into your life, good intended people, good intention, people with good intent towards you. Okay? If we all walk around with the armor on, no, but we're all going to be bumping up against each other like one of those bumper cars, and dodgem cars, is that what they are? And we'll be bouncing and clinking, our armour will be clinking against each other and just bouncing off each other. No one can get in. That's the point. No one can get in. So on top of the lessons that you've learnt around love, Spirit's saying, put yourself in love frequency for yourself, not to invite others in. They're welcome if they treat you right, and it's for yourself that you're doing it, not to actually manifest or attract anyone. Okay, so they're saying, this is not about giving up on love, but it's about having it for yourself. All of that good feeling that you think that you desire from having loving people around you, whether it's intimate or platonic. You're not giving me that word, are you, Spirit? Foster that within yourself. Nurture that within yourself and feel that way anyway. Because if you've come to that realization that I know it's love that I deserve, give it to yourself. And start carrying yourself in a way that demonstrates it. And I don't mean from the outside in, I mean from the inside out. It's the things, and I've said this time and time again, Spirit said this, it's the things that we do and the way that we move when nobody is looking that make all the difference. Okay? All right. Thanks, Spirit. That was excellent. Oh, dear. So wherever you're at, and whenever you see this, you might be seeing this video, might be, 4, 5, 10 years old by the time you're seeing it. That's okay. This is when you're meant to see it. Maybe it's making sense of something that happened for you, a long time ago. Maybe you're going through it right now and you're seeing the video right now when I've made it. Maybe it's something you haven't experienced yet, or you're in a state of confusion around a group of people or someone, and you don't know how to get yourself out of it. You feel victim to a group or victim to a relationship that's just not what you wanted. It's not giving you what you wanted. And these words might help to elevate you and lift you up. If you are in that kind of situation, please do look at my other videos as well, and anyone should anyway, and see what resonates with you. Spirit, is that enough? Thank you. I knew this guy would pop up. It's interesting, the final card today is the same final card that popped up in my last reading. Okie dokie. I don't know why I say that, but I do often when I'm ready to get started. Okay, so I'm talking to someone who, the underlying feeling here is someone who has realized their self-worth, someone who, we've got the star card here, someone who's realized their self-worth, someone who's been feeling very much at peace with their environment and very much connected to the divine, connected to Mother Earth, and just feeling good, at peace. Okay? Someone who, in your current position. Now, when I say current position, Spirit's saying, for some people, what I'm saying here is where you were at. And this feeling was the perception that you had at the time. And then since then, things have unfolded. So that might be for some people, not everyone. For others, it is right now. So whatever works for you, don't force it to fit you. Because you might be watching this and there might be, 5 things that I say within this video that really are for you, and let the others be for the other things that don't resonate with you or don't fit right now, be for other people. Okay? So someone who right now is who's currently very much enjoying life, out there having fun. They're doing all the good things for themselves, and they're feeling great. Okay. So that's a great space to be in. And then what we have coming here is the tower. Now the tower, um, it can be a bit of a rude awakening. So this is the influence that's coming in. So usually it's the advice. See how it's that way because it's crowning you. Okay, it's saying, you know, the influence that's coming from spirit is for you to have a change of perspective, to look at things differently. It's kind of like if you don't bring about the change that you know that you need to for yourself, then life or the universe will bring it for you, kind of thing. And I don't mean that as a threat, but there is a it's more about when these two people get thrown from the tower because the tower gets struck by lightning. They're thrown in two different directions, and the process of it is that they observe something. They observe something in other people, in certain other people's, or you know, a person that who they have held in very high regard. Okay, someone you've got on a pedestal, or someone that you hold in high regard, that then does something or says something to you or to others that you observe, that that shocks you, that takes the wool from your eyes. So suddenly you can see. Oh, this is interesting. Spirit's giving me that song. Suddenly I can see. This is how I want to be. Suddenly I see. This is how I want to be. So that's interesting because you're in a good space and enjoying life, and then there's this awakening that has to happen. This suddenly I can see who's good around me and who's not good, who serves me and who doesn't serve me, and that ties in with the Chariot card here, which is about moving on from people and places that no longer serves you to be around, moving forward and getting on with it. So this is about the realization of who's good for you and who's not, the reality of people who might be around you, or someone in particular, of the reality of their actual intent towards you or others. You see behaviour in them that you never thought you would see because you thought they were a different person, and then suddenly you see this behaviour and you go, oh God, that's not who I know you to be, or you've never spoken to me that way or treated me that way before, and I certainly don't treat you that way. So what's going on? And you can talk when it's that kind of thing, when it's one-on-one. You can talk. It could also be with a group. But you can talk it out as much as you want. You can forgive as much as you want, but you'll never look at that person. You won't be able to look at that person in the same way that you did before. It's impossible. So it is a real expansion of awareness through observation. It is change that comes in unexpectedly. It is shifts in perception. Okay, I'm not predicting that for you. That's the influence that's coming from the divine, from the universe at the moment, is for you to see what you previously haven't been able to see. Okay, and that can be an absolutely wonderful thing. It doesn't have to be a rude, shocking awakening. It can be that suddenly I see how I want to be. Yeah, which direction I want to go in, and who I'll have around me and who I won't. All that kind of stuff. So please don't be frightened of that. And Spirit's saying if you lean into that, what you'll end up with is a sense of, this is a strength card, you end up with a greater sense of, I've got this under control, I know what I'm doing now. Now that makes sense, right? The song coming through, suddenly I see this is how I want to be. You can see the way forward for yourself. And so that does give you, when you step in that direction, because it's one thing to see how you want to be and which direction you want to go in. It's another thing to actually step in that direction. The divine, the universe can put the path before you and you can go, wow, look at this amazing path I have before me. Look at where it leads. And then not step on it and not put one foot in front of the other. You can stay and distract yourself with whatever misery or whatever's going on at the moment. You might want to stay where you are, feeling, well, I'm very comfortable now. Why would I embark on that? I don't need to. I feel great. And so then you don't take the path. And Spirit's saying, if you do take the path forward towards what it is that you, how you want to be, how you want to move in the world and who you are, the new version of you, then you will feel like, oh, I've got this under control now. I know what I'm doing. All right? And it tames, it's about taming the beast. Like she's giving affection to a lion, taming your pride. Yeah, taming the beast within you, the wild side within you. And I'm not saying wild is bad, but it's maybe about moderating some things within yourself, self-regulation, self-assurance, yeah, and getting a handle on things and saying, oh, I've got this under control now, I know what I'm doing. So that's absolutely awesome. Distant past, there was a period where you were able to really, use all of the resources around you to manifest what it is that you wanted in your life. You've had a good run of some good energy here because of how you've been operating and really having some success with using your intent to gather different ingredients in order to get the outcomes that you kind of want. So that's awesome. And then more recently, you have, whether you're conscious of it or not, there's this realization of, things are going in the right direction for me now. Now I'm moving in the right direction. And so this is a refinement of that. If you're able to expand your perception, expand your self-awareness, and therefore the awareness of others around you and your environment, then you'll be able to really truly recognize who the new version of you is, and in which way you move, and in which direction you go. And it's not about, I was going to say it's not about forging forward, but here we are. But it's not about forcefully forging forward. Sometimes we recognize the path forward because we recognize which paths, people and places are not good for us. So based on what we know is not good for us, because we've learnt those lessons, had those experiences, that's how we know what we do want. Okay? So yeah, things going good, and you're able to mingle and interact with very different types of people and get, and things have been working out for you, and that's awesome. And that's what brings you to these, the beautiful sun and the star, which is, they're the best cards, seriously, like in terms of enjoying yourself. The influence that's coming in next after this tower is the Hermit. So really being able to, because the sun's about getting out there and, connecting with people and having fun and stuff's going good. But the Hermit, the Hermit, so the influence that's coming in within the next 3 weeks, 3 months, and you may be getting a sense of this now, because often when I read this, this influence has already been, it's what's there now, and it's already been there for a while. And this one you may already be sensing has entered your sphere, your realm of awareness. So the hermit, the influence of hermit is to take time to yourself and be reflective and ponder your thoughts and bring light to things that first you need to be able to recognize what the issues are in your life, whether it's in regard to specific people or an environment or an activity that you do or how you treat yourself or whatever, something you'd like to gain awareness around or work out the problem or whatever it is, and bring your own light to it. And you can only do that if you put yourself in a state of mind of peace and stillness. This is very active. This is very, get out there and have fun. And so they're saying balance that out. You're being encouraged to balance that out with alone time, because it's possible that when things are great, finally everything's great and I'm enjoying life and I'm going in the direction I want to go and we can burn ourselves out because we're not recuperating, we're not replenishing our energies, we're not. Also, our focus is so outward that we're not any longer aware of what is where we're at within ourselves. We might be happy because things are going well externally, but are we actually nourishing those quieter aspects of ourselves that don't involve other people or activities? Yeah, when we're alone. Yeah. So as I was saying before, the things that we do, the way that we move, how we treat ourselves, all that sort of stuff, when we're alone, when nobody can see, the stuff no one can see. How do we nourish ourselves? Do we reflect? Do we take accountability? Able to go, I had that interaction. It wasn't too bad today with that person. And then you can reflect on, okay, so how did I carry myself? What did I say and with what tone? How was I behaving? It went well. It could have been better. Things are improving with that person I've had problems with, but how can I, do I need to soften a little bit more? Do I need to show them that I'm not a threat? Do I, where is my behavior coming from? What feelings do I have within myself, or belief systems am I carrying from the past maybe that have been unconscious? And you can shine your light on them and say, well, no, that's no longer true for me. That belief system was there because I was experienced a painful, experience in the past, but today, I'm over that now, and I don't believe that anymore. So I reject that old belief system, and I want to forge new, better relationships with the people I interact with at work or, in wherever. Yeah, that's how things improve. So I hope that makes sense. Your attitude's excellent, actually. You have the Emperor here in terms of the attitude you're applying to your life. The only thing I would say about that, you could be a bit rigid. So as I was saying before, we did the card spread, the person who has learnt all the lessons and, this guy's climbed all the mountains, he's endured a lot, he's had to really find his strength, he's had to, it's taken a lot for him to be who he is and be where he is in life, right? So he has high expectations of other people. And he doesn't expect anything that he's not offering, but he, because of what he's offering, the standard of what he's offering, the quality of what he brings to any situation, he expects that in return, right? So that's a great attitude to have, but there's a seriousness to it, and what I was saying before about people who have elevated themselves to, they've learnt their lessons, they're not going to tolerate today what they've tolerated before, very much so, and they are they use their discernment to decipher between what's good for them and what's not, who they will interact with and who they won't tolerate, all that kind of stuff, boundaries, all that sort of stuff. But remember what we said, you can be wearing all that armor, all that stuff can be as armor for you. It's all great. It's a great stage of awareness, and it's necessary moving forward. And have you got your heart open? Are you still coming from heart space? Are you nurturing yourself from within while you're out there kicking goals? Spirit's saying, if you don't start balancing out your energy and focus outwards and your energy and focus inwards, and start really nourishing yourself from within, and looking after yourself and being reflective, mindful of how you interact in the world, you may have a rude awakening. The awakening for you may be rude. This is no threat or anything like that. But you're just being encouraged to develop in a certain way, and it will bring you that aha moment. If you go with it and balance yourself out, you will get that aha moment. Now I know what I'm doing. Suddenly I can see what I'm doing, and I know how to. I know. Yeah. And this is a great card and a great attitude to have, but it is a little bit guarded, intolerant, it's my way or the highway type of thing. And considering what you've experienced in the past that you never want to experience again, that certainly would serve you not to experience that, yes. And now Spirit's saying, now let other influences come into your awareness, into your consciousness. Don't just be acting out of a reaction to pain you've experienced in the past. Now it's time to open up and explore different avenues for yourself and different ways of being, where you can soften a bit and be more reflective and more thing, instead of being, potentially a hard ass or unforgiving. Just food for thought. Take what resonates for you and reflect on it, and just see where you fit into this. Now, here we have the devil, and so the role you're playing within your life. So same really, and I say that because what Spirit's saying is, let's say back in the day you were, when you fell victim to people and situations where you didn't have enough self-love, where you didn't care enough about yourself to have your own back, to make sure that you weren't being taken advantage of, or wouldn't get left high and dry, or whatever the words are, that, whatever was going on back then, where there wasn't enough self-awareness, or wasn't enough self-love, or you were just overlooking people's bad behaviour because you could see the good in them, but they weren't exhibiting the good towards you, all that kind of stuff that you endured and whatever else, and you never really spoke up. Maybe you didn't have the internal dialogue. Maybe you didn't speak up yourself and then make decisions based on what you needed to do for yourself. And so that led you to a lot of pain. And so these days you speak up. So you're playing, the role that you're playing within your life is someone who is not frightened to burn people with your words. If somebody's really doing you harm, you will tell them, and you will not hold back. If someone steps over a boundary for you, if someone starts not treating you right, and it smells like what you experienced in the past that caused you great pain, you will not tolerate it, and you will speak up. You will give them your fire if you have to. And so maybe this is about turning that down a little bit. Because it goes hand in hand with the, do we want to be wearing this self-protecting metal armor and holding a shield and holding a sword in order to protect ourselves from feeling the pain that we experienced when we were vulnerable and we didn't love ourselves enough to deal with the situation in a certain way? That, as I said in a previous video, that then the armor becomes stifling. If your hands, you've only got two hands. If your hands are busy holding a sword and a shield and you're ready to fight, if you're always ready to fight, you don't have any capacity for anything else, for any other experiences, because you're carrying a shield in one hand and a sword in the other, ready to fight. Okay, so if you just put them, like, I'm sure somewhere on your armor, or you can have a belt around you where there's the sheath for the sword down in front of your left leg or whatever, and there's a spot for your shield to hook onto your back or whatever it is, and then your arms are free, your hands are free. Yeah, and then take a look at the armor you're wearing, the self-protective armor. It actually stifles your breathing. It stifles your body from moving in a really comfortable way, in moving in a different way to what you've moved before. It is restrictive. All to protect yourself. All to be ready for a fight. And so this here can be an overcompensation for the fighting that you didn't do, for the self-defending that you didn't do back when you were hurt. It could be for you, it might be when you were a child and you got pushed around or picked on and whatever, and you didn't feel you had the strength in you to be able to say, stop treating me that way, or to push back or whatever, defending yourself. And so today you're someone who really feels, well, no one's going to cross me. They're going to know about it. Yeah? But sometimes what happens is that we misread a certain situation, or we misread a certain person, and that then can lead to us having a reaction where it's the wrong reaction, because that's not where they're coming from. Their actions could look the same as someone who's hurt you before, but if you ask them if you take the time to peacefully and calmly, respectfully ask them what their intention was with that action or those words, you might find that it's a completely different intent to what the person who hurt you in the past had. There's another reason why they're saying what they're saying or doing what they're doing. But if you don't stop and pay that respect and ask, give them the opportunity to explain themselves, you might just burn them with your reaction instead. And then so you will miss out on potential opportunities if you're just on fire all the time. If you're not on fire all the time, it's about that you don't have a filter when you talk anymore. You don't have patience of expressing yourself in a diplomatic way. So when we express ourselves, particularly with important things or important people in our lives, we need to do it in a way that honours the relationship that we have with that person, and do it in a way that comes from a space of what we want them to understand. What's the message we're trying to convey? If it comes with a whole lot of angst and impatience and fire, it doesn't. What will happen is we'll be engaging the other person's ego. They'll be too busy going, "Oh my God, I'm being yelled at," or "I'm being spoken to rudely or harshly, or with a level of brutality that I'm not used to or didn't expect from this person." That's what's going through their mind. They're not even listening to what you're saying. They can't take in the actual message because they're having an ego reaction to the way they're being spoken to. Yeah? So again, I'm getting this feeling of balance things out. Balance things out. Soften where you need to soften. And have a think and a feel about whether you need to be so defensive and so self-protective. When you truly feel love for self, you don't feel vulnerable. So then you can be placed anywhere, in any situation, anywhere in the world, sort of thing, and you'll be able to cope fine, because your love for yourself, your relationship with yourself is so strong and intimate that you'll never fall for the things you know, the tricks that you fell for before. You know you'll never negate yourself in order to, you know, live up to some kind of promise that's made, but the other person isn't living up to their promise, but you continue to self-sacrifice in order to make it work. You know you won't do any of that stuff again. You know that you won't. You won't allow yourself to be tricked or fooled again. So if you're coming from that space of self-love, you don't need the armor. You don't need to be ready to fight. You have the skills to be able to defend yourself within a blink of an eye because of what you've experienced and who you are today. You don't actually need to carry the armor, and you don't need to be looking for a fight. Okay? Also, this could mean there's a need to moderate certain things. It could be things that you do within your life that are sort of addictive in nature, or maybe you're overdoing something within your life. That's for you to work out what that is. I'm not even going to give you examples, but if there's something that you do, it could be the way you eat. It could be anything. Okay, if there's something that you're doing that you do a lot of, to excess, that you're being encouraged to moderate it. It's not about necessarily cutting it out, but it's about moderating it. You could be, all I'm saying is you could be in that space. Then moving up here, we have the High Priestess. And this is hidden fears and desires. It seems there's concern around making decisions. There's concern around getting into new arrangements or entering into new contracts. And the advice that comes with that, or the influence that comes with that is, so long as you come from a balanced place within yourself, and this whole reading is about balance. And I think even the stuff I said around love before this card spread, it is about balancing things out. So if we've been through a bad experience, we're not having a super strong reaction to it. It's good to get the benefits of our sudden new awareness of self once we, healing ourselves and elevating from that point, absolutely. But then we need to be able to refine ourselves. And is everything about give me the word, Spirit, is everything about who I am today for my highest good? Or are there elements of who I am today and how I'm moving today that are still a reaction to the pain I experienced back when? That's what they want you to reflect on. Okay? You bring yourself into harmony, bring yourself into peace, bring yourself more into balance. We're never going to be perfect. We always are here to keep learning. But, moderating where we need to moderate ourselves, reflecting. Yeah? Looking for a new perspective, new ways to handle things. Then we can come to a more balanced, peaceful place within ourselves, and then we're able to use our intuition to make decisions stepping forward in terms of new arrangements or new contracts and things like that. Okay, and to me, this is very much about going with your gut as opposed to going with what looks better on paper. Okay. So sometimes if you've got 3 options, sometimes 2 of the options look much better on paper because they meet the criteria that you have set out for yourself. But remember, when we make a criteria, a list like that, we are making them based on who we are today and what our circumstances are today. But the universe and spirit can see how things are going to unfold potentially, in the future for us. So there's this third option that then doesn't look as great on paper in that it doesn't tick as many of the boxes on our criteria list, but it feels so much better. It feels so much better. Okay? And then that's the one you go with, and that tends to be a much better experience for you than things that just meet your checklist, but there's potentially no substance behind it, or half the things on our checklist within a few months or a year are not going to be relevant to us, and so then we're stuck in this situation, where they tick the boxes of the old checklist, but it doesn't serve us moving forward as well as the one that feels good will. Okay, so going with your gut instinct. And if you just center yourself and ground yourself and balance out your any areas within you within your life where you are doing anything to excess, or there's any patterns that really don't serve you, to rein them in, that puts you in better stead, and then you won't be as anxious about making decisions moving forward. Okay? It's interesting because we have the white and we have the dark, and we have the white and we have the dark here. So again, more choices. Moving forward, what are your choices? Moving forward, what are your choices? Okay? So where we end up here, if we take all this advice on, the potential is that we'll be in a place where you can really intuitively recognize when it's time to move forward on things, and recognize which direction is best for you. Okay, and I will take out a card on that. The Lovers. So we're back. Oh dear me. Okay, that happened on purpose. I'm going to do that, and I'm going to do that. So we started this readings about love, right? And here we are with the Lovers. I was going to pull out a card earlier on something else that I was talking about for more clarity, and Spirit said, no, don't do that. Okay, I'm not doing that. But then I felt the need to pull it out, and here it is. More love in your life, making decisions, knowing in which direction to go. We have to go through this refinement process, fix our thinking, moderate our behaviour, balance out our inward and outward energies and time we spend with ourselves, as much inner reflection as outward, energy. So being able to make decisions in a balanced way around relationships, intimate relationships, being able to navigate those relationships in a way that is that gives us longevity, and gives us it's not always about the longevity, but it is more about the inner nurturing. If she's nurturing herself and he's nurturing himself, what they're able to give each other is the overspill. I feel great and you feel great already. We already feel great. We're not lacking in anything, and we want to be together. Yeah? I'm not with you because I expect you to give me love, and you're not with me because you expect me to give you love. And I'm not saying you don't give each other love, you do, but it's the spillover. We do what we need to do for ourselves in order to feel great already. We're not looking for love in somebody else because we can't feel it within ourselves. And the whole message of this at the beginning was, feel it within yourself, right? This over here, what was revealed in my fumbling of the cards, was the Hierophant. And the Hierophant is about what you dedicate yourself to, how you want things to be structured in your life. What are you committed to? Okay? You have to be operating your life in a way that shows a deep, strong commitment to self. And it's not about being selfish. It's about self-love and not negating yourself for the benefit of others all the time. Doing things in a balanced way. Balanced way. There's the pillars again, the choices. What choices do we need to make to set the structures of our lives, where we go, where we place our energies, with whom, all that kind of stuff. We need to work all that out. We need to work it all out in order to really, and to learn how to do things where we're really committed to having our lives in a way that really serve us and serve our highest good. Yeah. So then when we are partnered, or you might be currently partnered, and this process would help you to improve the situation. Okay? It's not always about, well, I'm not feeling great, so you're the problem because you're the closest thing to me. You're supposed to make me feel good. That story needs to stop. If that cycle is still going on in your life or anyone around you, like, that shit just needs to stop. That's done and over, dusted. That's over with, that cycle. We learn how to balance ourselves and make ourselves feel great, and then we share the excess with our partner or with whomever. Yeah? A relationship is not an agreement where your partner has to give you everything you feel you lack, where your partner is responsible for whether you're happy. You may be unhappy because you haven't addressed your unconscious patterns within your family or within your history with whoever's been around you or whatever, or patterns of behaviour within yourself. You haven't moderated yourself, or you haven't. I could be talking about you. I could be talking about the person that you've been with in the past. That, and then they project all of that. I'm not feeling good, and so you're not making me feel good. Well, I'm not here to make you feel good. I'm here to love you. I'm here to love myself first, and you're here to love yourself first, and you're here to love me. Yeah? It's not about projecting, well, I don't feel great. You're not doing anything that I can put my finger on that's causing me harm, but you must be doing something wrong. I'll find something that you're doing wrong because I don't feel great in myself. Well, how about you go work on yourself? Yeah? And not project. Your issues from past situations that your partner is not responsible for. You see how everyone needs to balance themselves out and really take accountability for what is theirs and what is others. That discernment goes two ways. And so, yeah, I feel like for some people, there's been an overreaction. There's been great lessons learned, but maybe an overreaction to things they've experienced in the past. And now it's time to refine, to reassess and refine. Find another perspective, look at things from another perspective. Do these actions, qualities, lifestyle choices, whatever, do they serve me in my highest good moving forward? Or are they still a reaction to the pain I experienced back then? That kind of stuff. You have to have, in order to have better external, better intimate relationships or friendships or, work colleagues or whatever, or find your soul tribe, whatever it is, however you want to word it or look at it or whatever, you can't have the level of that you want there if you don't have it for yourself. Your relationship with yourself must come first. So it's not enough to be out in the world shining like a star and, I'm just bloody wonderful, and then at home you feel the opposite. If you feel the opposite when you're on your own, you need to do some work. Because you can't be bringing that into a relationship. Your partner is the one who's closest to you, who's home, and they experience the dark side. They don't get to experience what you show the world. You don't have someone in your life to be your punching bag. your emotional punching bag to let all your frustrations out on and all that sort of stuff, and then expect them to fix it all. It's not their job. Yeah, I'm saying this for whoever needs to hear it. So it may be that you have been the recipient of what I'm saying. Yeah. So whatever fits for you. I didn't really think it would go in this direction, but it has. So it's kind of like Spirit said, you want to look at love. Let's look at love. Okay? And the games people play, and how unbalanced and unfair dynamics can be within, and it can be friendships. It doesn't even have to be intimate relationships. Okay? So please, to cap it all off, please focus on how you can improve yourself. And it's not about being self-critical, how you can love on yourself more and more and more. But spending that time, being able to hold yourself accountable for whatever role you play in the dynamics that you're not, completely satisfied with or happy with right now. Okay? And really work on your relationship with yourself and where you're at, how you present yourself out in the world, how you are at home when you're alone, how do I move when no one's looking? Because that's the real you. Okay? If you're, Spirit's saying, if you're someone who, I could be talking about someone you know, it may not be you. Some people wear a mask for the world, and they put on this great smile, and there's nothing but positivity comes out of their mouths, and they just have a great attitude and all that kind of stuff. But that's not who they are when they come home. And so Spirit's saying that their advice to them is, for whoever it's for, whether it's you or someone you know, is be that person at home. Don't let it be a mask. That's obviously how you consciously want to present yourself and who you want to be. You're unable to do that at home, then you need the mask needs to become you. And it means throw the mask away and become the qualities, like actually foster those qualities, nurture those qualities, feed those qualities within yourself. So that when you're going out into the world and being that super positive person, that amazing person who just wants positive outcome for everybody, that is truly who you are. You're not wearing a mask. You can't have darkness at home and only light for outside. Whoever is around you is not going to have a good time. And so if you're someone who is with someone like that, it might be time for you to start speaking up or start having, time to yourself where you get to really reflect on your way forward. Okay? Everything you do out of self-love. If you do everything out of self-love, you'll be loving towards other people. It doesn't mean you'll stay with people who you're not meant to stay with. It may be that you move on lovingly. And I'm not suggesting if you're in a relationship of that kind to move on. It's completely up to you. The message of all of this is self-love, basically. Okay? And so I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this helps someone. And I'll see you next time.